Hey, Paul here from All Blokes Love Sneakers too. This is episode 10 of season 4. Today you get to hear Johnnykicks. We talk about some of his amazing early designs. We then touch on some of his latest creations that are starting to make waves in the sneaker industry. We finish talking around how some of his designs are now being made out of China. Amazing chat it is overall. Make sure you look out for all our other content. We've got Around the Sneaker in 130 days. We just got to episode 50. I'm still doing Spilling the Kicks most weekdays. We've also got some other great content coming out. Make sure you check it out on YouTube and where you get your podcasts. Hello, welcome to episode 10 of Old Blokes Love Sneakers 2. Got a special guest. Actually, he's becoming a regular now. I think we shouldn't call him a guest anymore. I think we're just going to call him one of our regulars. Mr. Trotter, how are you, Johnny?
I'm very well, man. Very well. Thank you again for having me on again.
Don't be silly, mate. It's always our pleasure. Like I said, I think you're becoming a regular. I think this is our third interview, isn't it?
Yeah, third or fourth. Yeah, something like that.
We're going to have to start chatting, you know. We're going to have to put you on the book soon.
Yes, sir.
Hey, before we start, how is LA at the moment, mate? It's a bit crazy.
Well, I'm out in DC right now, but no, I mean everything's tame. I mean, the US is going crazy right now with these riots. I don't know if you heard, but you know, with the whole death of George Floyd, I mean, it's just every city is going up in flames. I mean, it's riot after riot after riot, and people are finally standing up, and you know, they really want to send a message. You know, right now, you know, I'm in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC, and thank God where I live, it's a pretty secluded bubble. I have a lot of government workers around, and the police force is very, very, very strong out here. So as far as my well-being and my family's well-being, we're okay. But yeah, it's a crazy time that we're living in.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of, you know, we get everything is instantaneous nowadays. We get it pretty regularly. I was watching some of it this morning. It's, you know, it's people are standing up, and all of a sudden it's gone almost the other way, hasn't it? People have decided, hey, it's a good time to loot and do a few things like that as well. So it's a bit of a scary time.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't condone you know, the that whole aspect. I mean, standing up for what's right, I completely understand that, but the looting and everything like that. I mean, some big sneaker stores have been, you know, been affected by it pretty good. Politics got, you know, looted last night, and you know, it's just sad. It's just sad to see. Like, I understand like what happened and it's bad, but you know, and standing up is the right thing to do. But this is not the right answer. So it's just unfortunate.
Hey, good look at you. You need to be the host. You brought it straight back to sneakers. I was just going to talk off. I was going to talk politics of that. You brought it straight back. Thank you. Hey,
Yeah, man.
I got a few things I want to cover today. Let's start with your Gofundme, and that did successfully well for the cause release. How did you go, my man?
Dude, I mean, it was amazing, to be honest with you. My sister's like a business management person, right? So she worked for corporate Mercedes-Benz, and now she's a head over at SunTrust, which is the sixth largest bank in the world. And she does really business relations and business building. And she, you know, she's here in DC at the moment, and we sat down, and she was like, you know, I think you would have a lot of support, you know, with the following that you have to be able to grow and finally make these shoes tangible. My whole process has been design, but I've never really viewed it as like a business where I could make money at it, because I've never really known actually how to make the shoes themselves. You know, I have so many relationships in this business with shoemakers, and from collectors to shoemakers to vendors to store owners. I mean, I know everybody. And so I really took it upon myself about 2 months ago to say, no, it's my turn. It's my time. I'm going to start making these shoes, and I'm going to start putting them out so the public can actually own them. And my sister said, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe do a public funding, well, if you need some kind of finances to kind of like jumpstart it. And so I partnered up with my buddy Connor, aka C's MC on Instagram. He's a verified shoemaker. He's one of the best shoemakers privately out there in the world right now. And we partnered up to basically bring a lot of these shoes that I want to life. And he's a reconstruction artist, you know, so I'm going to be really working with some painters and reconstruction makers, but he's a guy that I'm going to be partnering up with a lot of them. And one of the ideas that we had was for a Cause SB. And so the Cause SB, I mean, I think universally, I think everybody loved the Cause drop from Jordan Brand, but I really wanted to, you know, take advantage. You know, back in the day, I skated when I was a kid, and I grew up with SBs, and now that SBs are finally having a resurgence. And then when I designed the shoe, I got over 600 DMs within a day asking, is it coming out? How can I get it? Where can I get it? And I said, you know, after the Yellow Lobsters, I think that's a project that we should focus on. And, you know, and then he told me how much it's going to cost, because creating a whole new silhouette from scratch, it's very, very costly. So developing the patterns for it, creating lasts for the silhouette, it costs so much money to develop all these things. And there was no way I was going to be able to fund it myself as much as I wanted to. And so I kind of left it to my followers and the people that support me. And so I launched the GoFundMe account for that specific shoe. And we set the goal at 65, and it hit within a week. Again, thank you to you guys for just helping the cause and being donors to it as well. I mean, again, the support has just been overwhelming, and I'm so excited to say that we are actually bringing the project to light.
Fantastic. Hey, look, it's our pleasure, man. Like I said to you, I think we talked about it, and I think you're on live, and I said, look, we weren't even worried about the shoe. We want to do something to help you. You know, you're always so generous with us. So, and I think 300 of those 600 messages were probably from me, right? Saying, hey, get these up. I need them. So.
Dude, it's been absurd. And, you know, we ended up getting in contact with Nike's HR and head of Nike legal. And, you know, as of right now, they said there's no problems. They're not going to do anything as far as copywriting and everything like that. So I'm fortunate to know some very high up PR people. And, you know, we've been able to actually contact the heads of Nike, and they said, we're not going to give you any grief. So the project's a go as of right now. So I'm super excited.
I'm so excited for you. Hey, today we normally talk what's recent. I want to drag you back. We're going to go way back in time. You did a Bathing Ape NMD a long time ago. It's one of your originals, I think. It was pretty close to one of those. I wanted to talk to that because we haven't really talked about sort of where you came from. And I think that's a really good early one for you. Tell us about that one, mate. That's a long time ago, isn't it?
The Bape NMD, was it the Futurecraft version?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So for a long time, I was doing Adidas concepts. I was doing a lot of Adidas design. My whole page is really Adidas. And again, I always loved the Bape shoes, the Bape, you know, just for the culture. I mean, Bape has been around for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been alive. And you know, it's represented a lot. And the NMD was honestly, besides the JohnnyKicks, is probably my favorite NMD who ever dropped. So seeing that with a Futurecraft sole on it, I mean, it turned out amazing as far as what it looks like. It should have almost come out like that originally.
It's really good.
Yeah, so
is that one of your originals? Is that pretty close to one of the first ones you pulled together?
I honestly can't even remember. I probably put a Futurecraft sole on every hyped Adidas shoe ever made. Honestly, I really started with the 1.0 Ultra Boosts, and then I moved through all the hyped NMDs. You know, I did the Hype Beast, Ultra Boost, the Miamis, the Arizonas. I mean, I've done Futurecraft on everything. It's crazy to see that, you know, Adidas is now coming out with my exact designs years later. And that's another reason why I kind of stopped working with Adidas, just to be completely honest. I've been almost taken advantage of by the company. They've taken multiple ideas of mine and replicated them about 3 to 4 years later. Now, I understand companies work 2 to 3 years ahead, but when you're coming out with my exact design 3 or 4 years later and then trying to claim that you've never seen it, but yet every single one of your creative directors follows me on Instagram, and not only follow me, but have reached out via direct message, liked my post, reposted my photos on their own pages, and then asked their audience what they feel of them. There's kind of like a, why are you doing this kind of situation?
Yeah, it's a little bit silly, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, we'll talk about some copyright stuff just near the end. We'll do with that later. Hey, another one I wanted to talk to you about, and I know not many people know, obviously, you work with a shoe surgeon, and one of our other friends, Dexter, you did some work with him. Now, you did what was it, the Yard Python, the Nike Yeezy ones. Do you remember those a long time ago, the orange and white ones? It's the boot style.
Yeah, the Nike Yeezys, Yeezys.
Tell us about those. Did you guys do those when you're working with Dominic?
Yeah. So that was when I was working, and him himself was working with Dom. So that was actually shot in my apartment complex in downtown LA. So yeah, we spent every Saturday pretty much going around all of LA, like taking shots of shoes. Anytime that we got a day off, we kind of link up, and me and him, we had an affinity for Yeezys, and that was actually his pair. But yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of cool stuff in the works. I'm excited to see what he's doing. I know he's doing a lot of masks right now, but I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
We talked to him this week. He's very mask oriented. He's getting, obviously, he's always really good at whatever he does, and he's applied that. Hey, so on those, how did we come up with that design? So who was that you leading that?
I'm the designer for the most part, to be honest with you. I just have all these different ideas. Honestly, I don't know. I just have so many different ideas. When I look at a shoe, I come up with 20 different versions of that shoe. It's not even hard for me. That's why it's difficult now to try to figure out which ones I want to release and how I'm going to be releasing them in such a short amount of time, because every single day I find myself designing something new. So it's kind of a hindrance, but I love the fact. So I always have a notepad just filled with concepts. Like, all right, I got to set these aside for like the future. So my notepads are getting outrun. I think I got like 75 concepts that I've yet to do now.
75. Well, you are amazing. Hey, another good concept one I wanted to talk about was, there's always you did the What the Air Max 90 concept. That's a really amazing one. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, so I mean, one of my favorite silhouettes of all time is the Air Max 90. Honestly, I've loved it since, God, I don't even know how long. I've probably owned 100 Air Max 90s in my life. I used to wear the triple white ones all the time, but as of recently, I wear the off-white ones right here all the time. But I mean, I wanted to pay homage to a silhouette that's meant a lot to me, and they've come out with a lot of dope pairs over the time, and I thought that would be a perfect homage, and I'm really trying to talk to somebody about doing a What the Air Max 90 to actually bring it to life, because I think that concept hit hard, but I think if we were able to actually bring it to life, I would love to do the What the Dunk that we did.
Oh yes, I was going to ask
honestly,
that. Oh.
The sample, if I was to make a sample of that shoe, it would probably cost me right around like $8,000, honestly. Just based on
I might fund that one for you because I love that too. You got me with What That and the Dunks, mate. That was amazing too.
Yeah, I mean, again, like that's one of the most iconic shoes of all time, especially now with the Dunks coming back. I mean, the What the Dunks going for $10,000 now. So it's one of those things. I was like, let me put a new, refreshing spin on it. So one of the Dunks was the most hyped Dunks of the last 2 years, and then one was the most expensive Dunks of all time. And I think it kind of hit well, because a lot of people ask me for that shoe, and I hate to tell people I can't do it, but it might be a project that I just keep in the back pocket and see if I can't source the materials over the next year, and then eventually sometime next year bring it out.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that's one of those, like we talked about, that's a commission style, isn't it? Someone needs to commission you to do that. They need to pay for that first one. And like you're saying, it'd be really interesting to get that up. I reckon once you got it going, people would just start to pick it up, and the cost would go down, obviously, after we do a first run of those.
Well, I mean, one guy already offered to pay me $10,000 to make the shoe. So I mean, he was like, "Yo, do you accept wire transfers? Like, I'm down to pay for it right now." But again, working that far ahead in such a skeptical manner, because it would cost that much, but to be able to find those materials, and then also, because again, we probably have to screen a lot of them and go to like refineries to actually make them from scratch. So it's like, it's hard. Like for the Yellow Lobsters, for instance, just one of the panels on there is from the Yellow Lobsters. For the Yellow Lobsters that we're creating for the Jordan 1s, we're having to completely make our own screening for like the splatter pin on the yellow leather. So it's just for one panel of that shoe. That's a whole process just in that. So to do it for an entire What the shoe with like 30 different Dunks on it, for an independent designer, it would be very hard.
Yes, I think that's one we need to get our friends at Nike to help you out, mate. That's the one we need them for.
Agreed.
So this gets me on to probably, I reckon it's one of your most popular at the moment, the Stewie Griffin. Everybody's loving. I love this. I love this cartoon look. I think I said this to you, or I said it to somebody. It doesn't look real. The photos, it looks like it's a drawing. When you're holding it, when you've got your hand, and we'll show it up on here as we go. It looks like you drew it. That's what I originally thought it was. And Max was like, no, this is real. Tell me about those, mate, because they are phenomenal.
So I'm actually dropping a limited run of those next month. I partnered up with Tarek, 1993. His name is Terrell. He lives out in LA. He actually does all of the cleats for the San Francisco 49ers. His brother plays on the 49ers. And I basically commissioned him to be able to make my sample. So my base shoe should be getting to him tomorrow. And then he's going to make it. And then we're going to actually release a limited either 10 to 15 pairs of it right around the 3rd to 4th week of June.
Right. Are they all full? Can people still buy those if they hear us?
Yeah. No, so it's going to be complete. It's going to be based off a pre-order. So they're all going to be available. And then basically I'm going to launch them on my website. And then pretty much it's first come, first serve. And you can add your shoe size to cart. And then if you're able to check out and get a confirmation, then you'll be one of the lucky ones. And then we'll source the base shoe and then we'll start working on it. And then within 8 to 14 weeks, you'll be able to get it. So it's all of my releases are going to be first come, first serve pre-orders.
Beautiful. Hey, what's the price on those?
I think we haven't nailed it down because I still have to talk to him, but I'm trying to aim for roughly the 1,200 mark, just based off of his workers fee and then the sourcing fee and all the work that goes into it with the man hours. I think 1,200 is going to be roughly around the price USD.
I think you'll get your 10 or 12 pretty quickly with those two. They're beautiful, and people will see those up on our. As we're talking, they'll be up. They're up here now, so people will see those. Phenomenal. They're one of my favorites you've done. Like I said, it looks really cartoonish. It looks.
That's very much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, I based it off the LeBron 6 Stewies. If you hadn't seen those already, that's what I based it off of. Yeah,
that was my only bad thing. I don't like LeBrons, but no, I'm joking.
But hey, I put it on a Jordan 1.
All right, so a bit of hype lately. That's exactly, you saved it. You saved it on the Jordan 1, friend. Hey, so there's a bit of hype at the moment around this thing called Ben & Jerry's. I don't know if you've heard about it. So.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Yeah. Hey, that leads me to someone, you might have pivoted. You might have done a waffle, which is actually works well with ice cream. Tell me about these, because these are good too.
Bro, I mean, again, close friend at Nike told me that they only released 3,000 pairs on Nike. Roughly around 80% of the shoes that released in the skate shops were backdoored. Yeah, it was a very limited release, very hard to get. Resale prices are at $1,600, $1,800 per size. You know, it's a very limited release, and I wish I could have gotten it. I entered probably 10 raffles, tried to do the sneakers app, took L's all day long. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to design it on something else. I love the Sakai waffle. Saw what it was kind of like a perfect base for it, and it hit hard. I mean, people want it. So again, I might make a sample of that too and maybe do a limited release later this year.
Tell me about that. Why do you reckon Nike only released 3,000 pairs of the original?
I think it has a lot to do with the COVID thing. And I think Nike is very, very, very good at marketing. They're very good at keeping shoes limited to keep the hype of the brand going. So with Adidas, right, their marketing is, I hate to throw them under the bus because I've loved them for so long, but they pretty much threw in the towel as far as limited releases go. They just really kind of, there's no hype around it. But like with Nike, they release so many different models and so many different pairs for anybody to get. But then for the sneaker community, they release very limited runs of shoes that are very hyped up. And it just drives that like want and that need to get shoes from Nike. And that's why I think they're killing it. I mean, I think a lot of it's got to do with the COVID thing and shipping and production and all that. But I mean, God only knows. Really, I think, as far as them releasing it, I think it was very strategic the way that they did that.
And I think they do that. You know what we've been talking about lately with the guys is, there's something comes out and there's normally an alternative that's a little bit different, and the price point is so varied, right? Like, like the Air Jordan 1s, there's so many Air Jordan 1s that are at this really expensive price point, but then there's some other ones that are really cheap.
Yeah.
That's what we've been saying to some people. Like I picked up burgundy red Air Jordan 1 this week, for like $150, right? And there's
Mhm.
a reddish sort of other style Air Jordan 1 that's going for about $450. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, if you shop around, you'll get something that's pretty good. And I think that's the other trick to me is if you're looking at stuff, people need to be making sure they shop around, unless you're going to go for the hype and pay for it. Because I know so many people who want a Ben and Jerry's. I've been hit up so often. I said, look, you're not getting them. If you want them, you're going to pay $1,600 to $2,000 for them. That's just where you're at, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, the way the sneaker game is now, it's all about the bag. If you have a bag, every single major collector out there, the reason why their collections look like that is because they spend mad amount of money on their collection. It's simple as that. You got money, you got a badass collection. You don't have money, I'm sorry, I can't give you stuff for free. And if you strike out, I'm sorry. It's like, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of relationships with a lot of different resellers, store owners. I get gifted a lot of stuff. So, you know, for me, if I really needed a pair of shoes, I could have got the Ben and Jerry's 3 months ago for $800. I didn't want to spend $800. Again, if I've gotten a mindset now of I just want to wear my own stuff. So it's like if I can just have a collection of just my own shoes, and I have like 6 different samples in the works right now with my own shoes. So, you know, I should be getting 6 different samples of 6 different models of my own shoe in the next like 6 months. So, or not, no, in the next 2 months. Sorry. But like, I have a different mindset. But, you know, if you want a shoe, that's limited, you just got to drop a bag on it.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's just about money. You can get them if you really want them. It's just how much you want to pay for them. Hey, let's talk about your designs. You've said we touched before about being ripped off. Tell me about what's been happening to you lately.
Bro, the pigeon Sakai's, man. It's like, I mean, straight up, they didn't waste any time, did they? I mean, it was 2.5 weeks since I designed that shoe, and factories in China are already starting to produce it. So
they look exactly the same. People will see they'll be up here and they look exactly. There's no difference. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, they DM me. The people that created it actually messaged me, and they said, "Hey, we want to send you one of these for free." And I'm like, appreciate it. You do understand that you did steal that from me, right? And they're like, "Yeah, we know, but what are you gonna do about it?" I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I can't sue them for making a Nike shoe that I designed. So, you know, I don't have any proprietary rights or copyright on that. So, yeah, I mean, it's
we need to get in business with them. We just give them your design. They get them up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's like the quality on Chinese fakes it's trash. I mean, again, like they're just trying to crank shit out, right? So it's like, I mean, a lot of people do that. And I know some shoe houses for customizers. I'm not going to name any names because I'm not that fucked up. But there are some shoe houses in the U.S. that try to claim that they're customizers, and they outsource all their shit to China. And then they try to sell it to Americans for way more. And then they think they're getting an American-made product, and they're really getting Chinese knockoffs. And it's not a good look. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but it's pretty shitty that they do that. So me, I'm trying to make everything in the U.S. I'm trying to make it with very, very, very high quality, amazing packaging. I want your dollar to be worth something. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to is when you get a shoe of mine, you're going to realize the value of it.
I think we need to do, you know, like in Australia, our notes have this like, it's like a laser image and you can only see on our specific notes. We need to get that on your shoe somewhere. We need to get like something on there that it's got like a fluorescent light. When you put a light across it, you can see like Johnnykicks engraved in it or something. So we know it's an original.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Yeah. Well, thank God I got my new logo too. So I'm going to be embroidering my logo and embossing my logo on every shoe that I come out with. So, I mean, hopefully factories don't do that, but yeah, I'm going to basically make it inside the inside tongue tabs of all my shoes. I'm going to basically put my own logo in there. So I'm glad we got that taken care of.
A really nice new logo. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, a company reached out and they said, we want to make you something and we want to create this for you and for no charge. And again, this is what goes back to the relationships, right? It's like, you know, all these different companies and all these different individuals are reaching out to just help me because they see the path I'm on and they just want to support. And it's amazing. It's really, it warms my heart. It's crazy.
We've talked about this before. I think that's I've talked to a few people outside of sneaker community and they sort of say, oh, is it really competitive? I'm like, no, it's actually not competitive. It's really collaborative is the word, right? Everyone wants to help everybody. You know, it's not about me doing well so Johnny does bad. It's Johnny and I doing well together so we all do well. There's room for everybody.
Right, and it's a catch-1-2, right? There's certain people in this industry that are like very selfish, right? So again, like I hate to throw him, and he's my boy, but like the shoe surgeon, right? So it's like I love the dude. He's a good friend, but if he sees that anybody that works with him trying to do their own lane, you're out of there. It sucks. Like there's me. I'm always say success breeds success, right? So it's like you succeed, I succeed, we all succeed, we all eat. But it's like some people, they're almost like, no, this is all mine. I don't want to share. And it's just like, man, it's like you got to change your mindset up, man. Like we can all be really fucking good at this and just crush the competition and have Nike and Adidas take us very, very seriously. But, you know, when you're greedy, it's hard, you know? So that's why I'm trying to just bring all of these creatives all over the world together and really disrupt this industry. And I think we're more than capable of doing it.
I reckon that's like, I'm with you. I want to be collaborative in this stuff. This is not hey, I need to step on someone to move up, you know? Because there's always that saying is you can step on as many people as you want on the way up, but that means there's no one's going to grab you when you're on your way back down. So you've got to be careful.
I love that saying. I absolutely love that saying. I completely agree. I mean, and I think that's, you know, my humbleness and just like collaborativeness. It's like, it really has helped me grow. I mean, honestly, like everyone that wants to reach out and help. And I mean, it's amazing that all these people just want to just be a part of the journey, and it's dope. I want to bring as many people with me as possible. You know, it's like, let's ride this wave together.
Beautiful. Hey, I totally agree, mate. I totally agree. Hey, thank you. Thank you for spending another half an hour with me, man. I could speak to you for hours. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Always.
Hey, we will catch up really soon. I'll get you back on Spilling the Kicks one morning. We'll have a bit of a chat. But again, thank you, mate. Thank you for joining us on Old Blokes Love Sneakers 2, episode 10. Thanks, buddy.
Dude, absolutely, man. I hope you have a great night, and, you know, I'll talk to you very soon.
You will. Thanks, John.
All right. Later, brother.
Thanks, buddy.